Okay, good morning, folks. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. All right, so welcome to the 10-minute trades trade room. We're looking at quite a bit of news this morning, so we'll go over it. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-minute trades. Please remember that all trades are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. Let me just get my screen set up. So here's the situation. Normally, I like some part of retail. Today is a lot of risk. And the reason is you've got retail, you've got PPI, which is a tradable report all by itself. Empire State, look at all this, look at it, there's quite a bit of news. So, oh, come on. So as a bit of news, Empire tends to come in late. Let me show you the report because the report's very disappointing, to say the least. Loss, dull, loss, one winner in the last 6 months. Last month, we did trade it on the ES, and we did have a winner, but today is not a normal day. So it's not just retail. You're dealing with retail, PPI, Empire. Um, let's take a look at Empire real quick. My thoughts about Empire is it rarely comes out on time. So you can be in a retail trade. Let's see if Empire came out on time in December. In December, it did come out on time. Okay. The news was a little bit positive. Gold went the wrong way, filled you the wrong way. The ES pretty much didn't respond. Gold went the wrong way and hit the first target on Empire, and then it went kept going up. So gold totally, I take it back. I was reading, I thought it said Empire, it said export. Gold did go the right way. Empire was pretty negative. Okay. So December, Empire worked. The problem we're up against this morning, there's no way to know what kind of setup to have because these reports don't trade together. So we don't have a history. Okay. When you don't have a history, you could either just throw a coin, right? Just like, you know, you're just throwing a coin because you don't have any way to test. Um, I don't trade coins. I don't throw coins. It's just not the way that I trade. It's not the way that I recommend anybody trade. So unfortunately, retail this morning is a sit out. You have to sit out this trade. You could look at it for a reversal. I mean, that's the one thing you can always look for. Um, If gold goes up to the high of the day, you could reverse. And if it goes to the low of the day and the news is positive, I would reverse that. I would reverse that if the news is positive. The issue is you've got to watch and you have to look and see, does all the news come out fairly close together? If you are in a situation where Empire hasn't come out, and let's look at another Empire, let's look at November, and see if Empire came out on time. Because there have been, let's look at the videos to decide if there have been late Empires, because my memory could be wrong. So Empire in November. Okay, no, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking Richmond Manufacturing has been later. So the last two Empires have been pretty close to being on time. News was negative, and again, gold did move the right way. The ES doesn't seem to respond much to Empire, but it does respond to retail. Okay. ES responds to retail. Does the ES respond to PPI? Respond to PPI? I want to see if I have any PPI reports where we were looking at the ES. Okay, so in October, we were looking at the PPI with the ES. And it just looks like a pretty non-reaction, non-reactive. There's a little bit of reaction. So not much of a reaction from the ES on PPI, not much of a reaction from the ES on Empire. So do you want to take the risk of trading retail with ES? Because retail will move somewhat on ES. Or would you rather be very safe because there's a little bit too much news this morning and see if you have a reversal? If you get a reversal, you can try it on gold. You could risk about $180, 18 ticks. My thought would be, if you get a possible move down into this area in here, supported by negative news, that would be a good reversal area. Okay. And then the same would be true here, supported by positive news. That would be a good reversal area. Much harder to get there because it's much further away. So maybe the VWAP could be your reversal area. It's possible. The truth, let's be honest, this is a super high risk trade because you don't have a really good setup. Okay. Why do you not have a good setup? Not because we didn't do our job, because they don't trade together usually. Um, PPI is more often a trade by itself, so you don't really have a test. You don't really have a good way to do the test. So when that happens, either, like I said, you either sit aside or you throw a coin, right? Which I don't like to do. I don't like throwing money away. I don't need to throw money away. We've done surveys, right? The survey is: would you rather trade 10 times a month live, trades that you have total confidence in, or would you rather trade 16 or 18 trades a month live, and 6 or 8 of those trades you have very little confidence in? I mean, for me, I would rather trade the good ones. I don't need to trade reports I don't have confidence in because they're coin tosses. They're not. They're not going to give you a great chance of making money. They're going to be a random luck of the draw, right? They're going to be luck of the draw trades. So if you look at the ES chart, it's not a great, well, you have to, it's far. The levels are very far apart today. So it's not a great reversal chart. It's better. It's almost 10 points. It's 11 points from the low. And it's 20 points from the high. It's definitely not a good reversal chart because you're pretty much in the middle of nowhere for the levels that I like to use, pivots and highs of days. Okay. So the only thing that I might be interested in, I mean, retail will move the market. Okay. We know that retail will move the market. But what you don't know, because of the way it's shaping up today, is when is it going to move? What's it going to move? Is PPI going to affect it? Is Empire going to affect it? There's a little bit too much news to take a normal trade. Especially look at the report. Look at the report. 1 out of 6 winners trading gold. So number one, you can't take the normal trade. It's terrible. It's a loser for the past half of a year, right? So you've got a possible test. Remember what we did the other day for the NASDAQ on CPI, I believe it was. I believe it was on CPI, which also, remember what we said, CPI and retail used to trade together. And when they did, it was a great trade. And then they broke them apart. So what really makes the most sense today is to test the ES. So going forward, we could see if retail is an ES trade for a few months, right? Like we did with CPI. Next month, I'll probably be willing to try the CPI because it worked on the NASDAQ. I don't know if any of you remember what happened in the beginning of the week, but IQ traded real nicely on CPI on our test, making it, worth probably trying it when it's noted on the report that it might be a viable alternative. So here's how I would approach this today. Here's my approach. And I'm not really, my plans today, we have 2 capacity utilization is not worth trading. Okay. I tested all week, and the report has not been consistent. Originally, I was going to have a trade room for that report. It just hasn't been working since the pandemic started. So, I mean, that's life. There are some reports that have not traded well, and the ones that don't trade well, and it's an unofficial report also. It's never been a trade that we traded. But, retail is a report that if you find the right setup, it's going to trade. Today, it's just bad luck because of the holidays. The issue we're dealing with is because of the holidays, sometimes January reports get bunched together because they also weren't set up properly in December. So they're trying to squeeze in a lot of things in January. So that's one of the issues. Or they're changing things and they're going to put these reports together, which would take time to have tests. In other words, you need at least 3 months, right? You need at least 3 months, at least 3 reports to give you a vague idea if a report's worth trading. I prefer 4 to 6, okay? I prefer 4 to 6. 3 reports is not really enough to give you an idea. Whoops, one position. It's not enough to give you an idea if you want to trade a report. And that's the truth. So today, look, I'm willing to leave money behind today for the sake of knowledge and testing, because we don't have a way to know what to expect today. That's being honest. So, there are people in the room. I mean, I know Jaquan probably will trade live because that's what he does. He's willing to throw the risk out there. So the ES, if retail were trading by itself, this would be a viable alternative. If it were trading by itself, do you follow? It's not viable because it's not trading by itself. So you can't take that seriously. It's not that, seriously is the wrong word. You can't take it as a definitive test this morning. Now, we decided that if we were going to try a viable alternative, if it didn't have an entry time, we were going to use the entry time on the report. Now, let's look at something real quick, just for fun. We traded retail on the ES last month. What was our entry time? Watch. I think we'll be able to tell. It was not 58, okay? It was 59 at the earliest. That might have been, you know what? It's marginal, but it was moving already at 8:30. It was moving early. It wasn't moving slow. So I'm going to use, for this test, I'm going to use 829.58. Ah, Jaquan, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. That's valid. That's valid. You're trading a funded account. Which company? Which company? Earn to Trade. Yeah, I've heard of them. So you don't want to hear what I think about those companies, but we'll talk about it one day. So ES, I'm going to test. And I don't want anybody to ever get upset with me. If you think I should be trading, if you think I should be trading, you can yell at me in the room. You can say, "Hey Lee, you're a big baby for not trading." You can call me out. You're not going to bother me. I'm never going to throw you out of the room unless you do something that's, horrible. I'm never going to get mad at you. There are times when there's a few times I should trade and I don't. Okay? And that happens to every trade room moderator. That's just part of life. So the ES, I'm going to keep my news off to the side. All right? And then I'm going to look for a real, I am going to look for a real reversal on gold. It's risky, okay? There's risk. There is risk. We don't know because these reports, they haven't traded before. together. So to do a reversal, I'm just going to try one contract, okay? I'll use a target as big as 18, and I'll use a stop as big as 18. I'm willing to risk $180 on a gold reversal, okay? You don't have to worry about time. All you have to worry about on a reversal is position size, number of contracts, and a stop. That's the minimum, okay? You can use many more of the features of the software, okay? You can use many more of the features of the software. You don't have to worry about entry time because when you choose a reversal, remember, you're going to get your buttons, right? I love the word buttons. You're going to get your buttons. Buttons. Make sure you label your reversal trade with a big REV, okay? And let's create a template for a gold reversal. Save reversal GC. This is more generic, one contract. Okay, 115.21. So I'm willing to look at a reversal potentially for a live trade, right? So Liz, you asked if I like those companies. And I don't like the funding companies. I'll tell you why. See, I love you, all of you. And I feel that they put a carrot and a hope in front of people that is not attainable or not as easily attainable as they make it out to be. So, my feeling about the companies that claim, hey, we'll fund you, they don't tell you how hard they make it, how little they give you when they fund you, um, and how much it costs every time you have to reset the account if it doesn't work out. So, my feeling, and the reason I don't love them, is because my feeling is they're tempting you by making it seem much easier than it is by looking for reset money. I think they're making more of their money on resets, people that are struggling, than they are with people that are actually funded and making money trading. Now, this is strictly an opinion, not something that I would take to the bank and say that it's true. Okay. Strictly my opinion. That's all that it is. All right. So people are making some interesting comments. And it's important, to make sure that your opinion, it's known as your opinion and not fact. Okay. So we're testing a 7-tick bracket on the ES. It'll be hard to see because my trade's enabled. 7-tick bracket, one target for 4 ticks, one target for 10 ticks. Okay. Entering at 58. Now, my reversal trade on gold, if I get a trade that I think I can make money on reversing, I'll seriously consider it. And I'll look at gold on the 30-second chart because then I can use the squeeze. I can use the squeeze signals. See how theoretically squeeze is moving up all the same color, then it changes color. That changed color is a possible early entry for a short reversal. Okay. That's an out of the box way that we use the squeeze. Okay. That's an out of the box way that we use the squeeze. Yes, Steve, you can post that. And thanks for asking. I would like if people ask if they could post stuff just because it keeps things clean. I mean, I don't want anybody posting any crazy thing, political stuff, or you know what I mean. And I want to thank our YouTube friends for watching. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel and get the notifications. Then you can watch us 3 to 4 times a week and learn about event-based trading on YouTube. Okay. So we're going to do retail, and then originally I was going to stay in the room for capacity utilization. It's just not worth. It's not worth it, folks. I mean, I'll tell you what I'd be willing to do if people want to get back here at 9:10. I'd be willing to zip back into the room at 9:10. Hold on, capacity utilization might be 9:45. Is it? Am I losing my mind? No, it's 9:15. So if we come back at 9:10, we can see how the trade behaves. I guess I would be willing to do that. Okay. So if you want to come back at 9:10, I'll have a quick test of capacity utilization. I'll have it set up already. And then we'll stay in the room for University of Michigan. Okay. Now I did want to look at, I've got this open to the side. I already checked my time by going to time.is because we don't have a lot of time. The time's flying. I don't know why the time is flying, but it is. I wanted to see if FX Street is going to be usable for us. Brian, I don't know if you have time or if you're interested in looking at FX Street. I need to see if another calendar is going to be viable. That's what I'm looking to know. It's just too sloppy. That's the problem. It's too sloppy looking. And it doesn't show the time right. So I'm not sure that we're going to be able to use it. All right. I got my eye on it, is all I can say. I've got my eye on it. So what I'm curious about is whether or not we're going to get a viable reversal trade today. And I've got the news open off to the side, okay? News is open off to the side, all right? ES, a little bit of pre-trade volatility. Yeah, I think it's too sloppy, Brian. I think it's too sloppy, meaning the time isn't clear. So I want to be honest, folks. I'm not completely comfortable with a trade that I don't know. I mean, this is a trade that it hasn't traded this way before. Empire Retail Core PPI. If Core PPI was trading by itself, I'd be trading gold live right now. Okay. If retail was trading by itself, I'd be trading that new ES test that I'm checking on the right. Okay. But we're in a situation that's abnormal. So maybe I'll look for a reversal, but I'm very hesitant to take a trade with 3 news reports. I'm watching to see if they come out on time. Okay. ES filled when the news, all the news is negative, every bit. Now look what happened with the ES. We'll look at the video. We'll look at the video. All the news is negative. It all came out on time. All right. PPI was almost matching. Gold, no response worth trading yet. Empire usually has a good offset. Okay. That's something you can expect from offset. PPI almost matching. Retail, I knew that retail was going to be negative, but it's pretty negative. All right. I mean, it's a decent negative, but the ES really not a good response. Do you understand? Do you understand why having experience just saved us from a bad ES trade? Look at that whipsaw. That's a guaranteed stop out. It's a guaranteed stop out. You can always play the reversal. And if you get a good one, it's a low risk scenario. Now, you don't want to take this reversal because the news was all negative. Gold should start going back up. It might not, but the news is working against you. So if reversal gets to the low of the day, if gold, I mean, honestly, that might still be okay because it's going to be tired when it gets there. It's going to be tired when it gets there. It's not getting there. It's not going to get there. Holy whipsaw is right. What my point is, and I'm not bragging, but I am bragging, knowing how to do this, right? Knowing that what the possible risks are protects our accounts, okay? We protected our account by knowing, hey, maybe there was too much news. Hey, maybe these don't always trade together. Hey, you can tell by looking at the report that even my boss has uncertainties. Hey, maybe it's better to sit this baby out or do a reversal. That strategy, that knowledge, that little bit of bragging kept us safe. If you would have taken the ES trade, you would have lost money. Now, Jaquan, don't tell me you took the ES trade and made money live, because you'll make me look like a dope. You'll make me look foolish. I like being able to keep everybody safe. I prefer to trade, prefer to take the trade. Now, if we were discretionary traders, yeah, you could have gotten into the ES after the news came out with a 10, 12 tick risk. Yeah, you could have. 8:30, you could have used the 30-second chart, right? Here's how you could time it. Put the ES on a 30-second chart. Make sure you got the squeeze on your chart, right? And actually today, the squeeze didn't help you. So with retail news, now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make excuses for what I was just going to say. Retail news is very strong. You could ignore the squeeze at the exact moment of the trade because it didn't give a short signal. But if you waited for the candles to finish, the dramatic candles, right? Then you could have gone short ES with a 12 tick stop, and it would have been a great trade. We don't trade that way, okay? That's not the way that we trade. So it's okay. But if you are a discretionary trader, know by being here that the ES definitely moves on retail news. That much we know. The ES moves. We see it. We see it. Now, for some reason, before the trade, the time didn't show up on my FX Street chart. What I like about FX Street is sometimes they put a little bit less news on the chart. So maybe we'll test it for, but see, it sometimes the time doesn't show up, and I don't know why. I have to experiment more with the site. See how if I move the chart around, it'll show up. Anyway, so knowledge of risk kept us safe today. Let's look at the report. Look at the ES. Knowledge of risk. It told me that we were better off watching today. Okay. So I'm going to brag a little bit. It was a little bit too much news, and I feel like I kept us safe. And also, the ES gave us a warning, didn't it? It almost hit that first target, too. It came really close, one tick. So I could do all the bragging, but one little tick and it could have been just a safe get out of jail quick. You wouldn't have been able to get out, I don't think, fast enough. So either way, the ES, very difficult to trade today. But look how it virtually to the tick touches the target right there. But when you get a wick, if it's not a full candle, then you're getting a very low volume move, and that's why you may not get filled, even though it touches your target. Remember what happened on natural gas yesterday. All right. So not good retail news. The economy's hurting, folks. So there's every reason, whether you like Biden or not, doesn't matter. We have him. He's the guy, whether we like it or not. He's the guy, so we got to work together. But I think he's right, no matter what, whether you like him or not. The economy's hurting. People are hurting. We need more stimulus. We're the richest nation in the world. We can afford to help people. We have the money. Our corporations have the money. I still think we should have a virus bond. Someone came up with the idea, have a virus bond, like in World War II, there were war bonds. Let's have a virus bond where people that want to just buy some money can buy it. We're never going to get out of debt, Steve. Have you ever been out of debt in our whole lives? No. So don't worry about the debt. The debt doesn't matter. We're always in debt. We can print as much money as we want. The money doesn't have any meaning anyway. It's all fake, right? We just want to keep inflation under control. Just keep printing money and helping people. I mean, that's what we have to do. It's really simple. People need help. There's no reason for people to suffer in America. There's no reason. And Chantal, I know why you're laughing, but it's true. Money is all fake. I mean, that's why Bitcoin is there's so much interest, It's a limited asset. That's why there's interest in gold. It's a limited asset. And you're right, Calvin, it may cause inflation. We could use a little bit of inflation. We're at like negative, negative interest rates. But if the economy comes back, people go back to work, the vaccines work, and enough people take them, right? Then we're going to go back into a much more normal scenario. So, it doesn't have to be this horrible political situation. It just doesn't. People just have to give everybody a break. Everybody deserves a life. It's just that simple. Everybody deserves a life, no matter what. I want a life. I don't mind if my neighbor has a life. I want my neighbor to have a life. The more people that have good lives, the better our country is. So that's my political commentary. Everybody deserves a life. Food, medicine. It's not complicated. So the ES, very difficult today. All right. Gold just didn't give us a big enough move for a reversal. Kind of just hung out where it was. All right. So folks, come back at 9:10 and I'll have a trade already set up. I'll have a trade already set up for capacity utilization. So I had a setup for capacity utilization, but I think it's old. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, it's an old one. I was working on an ES version of the capacity utilization. So let's do this. So here's an old test. Here's a test when you come back. So you come back ready, okay? Let me just reset the account if I remember how to do it. In Ninja 7, I swear I forgot how to do it. Options. Nope. Oh, I can't because it was a trade. I don't think I can. I don't think I can reset it. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. There we go. All right. I just want it to be on 0. All right. So if we do capacity utilization on the ES, my sample test would be a bracket of 6 because it's industrial production also. One target of, let's go real small, 3 and 8, 3 ticks, 8 ticks with a stop of 8, okay? And we'll go in at 9:15 for the test. Go in at 9:15. It's a breakout and we'll label it ES capacity util, okay? Capacity utilization. Do you guys want to just stay in the room or you want to come back at 9:10? You guys want to stay in the room or come back at 9:10? So that's my setup. I am going to have to heat up my coffee if we stay. So we have a sample test on capacity utilization for the ES. Yeah, you can close YouTube, Chantal. You can close YouTube. Let's come back at 9:10. So here's our gold setup for capacity utilization.